Am I the a-hole for my reaction when I found out my son's mother picked a name without my input? My soon-to-be ex-wife, Lizzie, and I are currently separated and both responsible for it. It's so freaking complicated, but right now, we agreed to be civil to each other for the sake of our son. She's 6 months pregnant, though she can't help but act out and ignore my concerned texts and calls about our son. Her excuse is that there isn't much I can do besides giving her space and peace of mind, which is bull. I admit that I can be a bit of a hothead sometimes, but she already knew that, so she can't be acting surprised, claiming she's only recently seen my true colors or some similar crap. I already spoke to her about picking a decent name, and she agreed to consult with me later. A few days ago, I came over to our house to pick stuff I needed for my new place. Her mom and sister were visiting, and I overheard them say the name Jimmy repeatedly. I waited till my soon-to-be ex-sister-in-law got out to have a conversation with her. Her and I have always been good to each other, but of course things have changed now. Anyways, just out of curiosity, I asked who the F Jimmy was, and she said it's the name her sister picked for our son. I was infuriated and got hella agitated because she never told me she's already picked a name for our son and didn't even consider my input or listen to any suggestions I had. I snapped and went back inside to talk to her, and my soon-to-be ex-sister-in-law followed me. I confronted Lizzie about the name and asked why she excluded me from such a big decision, then went on about how incredibly, utterly disrespectful she has been acting recently, and she kept saying my input is worth crap after the trouble I put her through, as if she was saying that's my punishment for what happened between us. I told her very loudly that no matter what goes on between us, she can never change the fact that I'm still a father and yet equal say in every freaking thing regarding our son. I insisted that she get that through her thick skull and understand that I have no problem letting my lawyer deal with her unacceptable behavior. She laughed in my face and told me to F off, as she's the mother and get the final say. My soon-to-be ex-sister-in-law said I was stressing Lizzie out and had to go, but I kept arguing about it. She got her mother involved, and the three of them basically ganged up on me and told me to leave. I refused to just drop it, and got my family involved as well, although not all of them are on my side and against Lizzie's decision. Her mom called me horrible for stressing my baby's mother out and having her deal with mine and my family's BS. She told me to back off, but I refused until I get fair say in my son's name. No ifs, buts, or Jimmy. Is my reaction justified? Let's see how the community weighs in. First up, Snazzy Susie Q says, "You're the a-hole. I read through the comments and you should have put in your post that you cheated on your pregnant wife because you claim she became emotionally distant? Gee, I wonder why. You are a self-confessed hothead and a cheater. This is your fault, and I doubt even a lawyer could convince a judge to change or prevent her from naming the child whatever she wants. Your best hope, she'll let you sign the birth certificate and give the baby your last name. Perhaps if you wise up a bit, get a therapist to deal with that hothead issue, and try being civil and polite to your wife, she would consider letting you pick a middle name or something. You can't cheat on someone and verbally abuse them, then wonder why they won't let you help pick a name." Next thought comes from April 4163. "You're the a-hole. If you are this angry in writing, I can't even imagine what you're like in person. I also seriously doubt that she agrees that the separation is mutual. It sounds like she wanted distance from your anger and you took the opportunity to cheat. If you care about your child like you say you do, you will understand that the most important thing for him right now is a healthy mama to bring him into this world, and you will leave her alone. Let your lawyers work things out." "You're the a-hole 4 times over. Dude, you need some anger management, maybe a psychiatric eval, and see if there's something more going on with you. What you just described is not healthy behavior. It's a very stressful time for you, I certainly understand that. I've been in your shoes, but that still does not justify snapping and reacting the way you did. I'm betting that you've toned down the description from reality and told her very loudly is a nice way of saying you were yelling and screaming angrily at her." Let's get another decision to weigh in on. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's wife she can't win love by treating someone I love like trash? My parents divorced when I was 11 months old. My dad moved out of state with his job, and he met his wife there. My mom had primary custody of me until they moved nearby when I was 7. From the get-go, there were issues between my dad's wife and my mom. She wanted to take on an equal parenting role in my life, and even when my dad was out of town for work, she wanted to take me the half my dad would otherwise have had me. Neither my mom or I wanted that. I was very aware of how my dad's wife felt about my mom and my good relationship with her. She was jealous enough that like 2 months after they moved back, she started talking crap to my paternal grandparents when I was in the other room. It created a lot of tension between everyone. Several times in my life, she did a pretty crappy job of hiding how she felt about my mom. One time, she didn't realize I was in my mom's car, and she called her a C word that rhymes with bunt, and said she deserved to be my mom more than my mom did, seeing as she could provide me with a real family, and that she was going to give me so many brothers and sisters that my mom would never give me. That didn't happen, and she blamed my mom. I don't think she ever stopped blaming my mom for her inability to have kids. I found out a few years ago that she even tried to pose as my mom with my school and tried to get my mom taken off everything school related and instead have her and my dad's info as the only info. I have always had a very distant relationship with her for that reason. My dad hates it, but doesn't push it. He knows I adore him and my mom, but I don't see her as an extension of him that would kickstart the love they were hoping I would feel for her. Currently, I'm expecting, and my husband and I told our moms the names. Only our moms. We did it because they both expressed an interest in personalized or handmade gifts in my mother-in-law's case. My mother-in-law tagged my mom in a comment on Facebook about being in on the special secret of the name, and my dad's wife saw. She was very hurt, and she came ranting at me about how crappy my mom was and how much she, dad's wife, had done for me, and I didn't appreciate her or treat her like the mom she deserved to be. I told her treating someone I love like crap isn't going to win my love. My dad told me I didn't need to love her, but I was cruel. Am I the a-hole? The judging community starts us off with a digital hedgehog, not the a-hole. This goes way beyond petty jealousy or a bad relationship between your stepmother and your mother or crap talking. Your stepmother has been trying to erase your mother's place in your life and take over as the sole mother figure. She tried to kidnap you essentially with that stunt with your school and has shown on multiple times that she is untrustworthy, obsessed, and cruel. You are not out of line or cruel, and you need to set some firm boundaries with your father and your stepmother, especially your father. Because like it or not, he's not exactly putting a stop to your stepmother. He's enabling her by saying you're the cruel one instead of stopping her crap. He is the one you're going to have to deal with more than her because he is the one who's going to be pushing your boundaries the most when she discovers that she cannot. You were honest and now you have to deal with this problem your father and his wife has created. Don't back down and set some firm boundaries because there is no way that she is not going to want to be the only grandma and damage your relationship with your child, as well as your child's relationship with their actual grandmother. Another judge weighs in by the name of PDX Flower Power. Not the a-hole. And if your father says it was cruel, I'd counter that you having to experience this your entire life, your stepmom's enmity toward your own mother, was excessively cruel and mean. I'd also be super clear about boundaries. Any crap talking of your mom by stepmom is grounds not to see grandchild. Period. End of story. Never leave your child with them. Good lord, that woman is toxic. I think what you said was actually very measured. Oh, and maybe block her on your social media. Your mom and mother-in-law should too. One more comment from Kira Noir. Wow, your dad is the one who abandoned you for a job for 7 years and come back with an evil wife he then subjected you and your mom to, yet you adore him? Why isn't stepmom blocked on all your social media? You're not the a-hole for defending your mom, but why even give this woman any attention at all? Okay, one more story for the day. My family thinks that my new rental property is a charity. Some background. My grandparents owned a 4-bedroom lake house with about an acre of land for about 25 years. Through the years, they hosted many family events and people visited often to get free getaway. Last year, they wanted to move into a nice old folks home that's basically a resort. To do that and finance the rest of the years, they sold me their main condo and put this up for sale. I bought it at what was a fair rate at the time. It has since gone up in value about 25% due to the recent housing surge. I just finished with some renovations and officially got it listed on Airbnb as a side hustle. This summer, I've gotten lots of requests from family to visit, and I've said no because it's being renovated. I also told them I intend to use it as an income stream, not a family vacation home. I got some pushback, but held firm. Well, now my cousin just got engaged and they want to plan a May 2022 wedding on a specific day that has significance to them. This will end up being over Memorial Day weekend. My cousin Jean called me and asked if they could have it at the lake house, since there's so much land for an outdoor wedding, and she and her fiancé met there years ago. His family is friends with our family. I told her that I anticipate renting it out that weekend and that she can have the first dibs on the days needed and sent her the link to reserve it. She then realized this would run her close to $6,000 plus deposits and service fees, so really like $8,000. She flipped out saying that this is a family event and a family house, so I shouldn't charge. She then said it should be like my wedding gift. I told her, Jean, my wedding was 3 years ago and you got me a set of knives, which I do like. It's not really fair to say I should basically give you $6,000. She flipped, called me greedy and a terrible family member, and hung up. Since this, my parents, aunt and uncle, and one sister all told me that I was being greedy as well. My brother, who helped with the renovations, is on my side 100%, and my grandparents told me they'd love to see a wedding there, but said they sold me the house with no conditions, so they won't pressure me. But I've been getting so much flack from a couple people in my family. Edit. In purchasing it from my grandparents, I made it clear that it would no longer be a family home and that I would be using it for an income stream. They knew this before selling. Jean and I are not close. She's one of 13 cousins on that side of the family. We are 7 years apart and see each other probably 1 to 2 times a year at most. Part of my thinking for charging is that I don't want my place to turn into the de facto family spot. It was not cheap and I had to take out a mortgage to pay for it. For people not from the US, Memorial Day weekend is probably the most popular weekend for pool parties, lake house rentals, etc. It's literally the most valuable weekend to own a lake house. I told her I'd give her first dibs on it before opening it up to anyone, but it will easily get rented that weekend otherwise. The current price that people have called ridiculous is based off of what the surrounding places of this size are going for. Since listing at that rate has been getting booked super fast, and I've been encouraged to raise the rate. It is not overpriced for its market at all. What I would charge is actually less than what the average venue would charge for the amount of guests she wants. She'd be saving about 40% from what a traditional venue would charge. I would also only charge the normal rate, not the holiday rate that Airbnb told me I should and would for anyone else. So this is effectively a 30% discount off the bat. Time for that judging community. Let's see what they say. Dell901 starts us off with, I get why she asked, but she and your whole family, except brother and grandparents, have to remember this isn't a family property anymore. You shelled out cold hard cash for it and spent more money renovating it, not the a-hole. If she wants her wedding there, she has to pay. Maybe there's some sort of discount you could throw her way, but not required, and doesn't sound like she'd even appreciate it. One more judge weighs in, by the name of Adventurous Milk 28. Exactly. It is no longer a family home. You used your money to purchase and renovate it. You need to make this clear to your family that it is not a vacation home for them to use. For all intents and purposes, it is a venue for those who rent it out for party weekends, etc. I agree that you could offer them a discount for that weekend. If you do choose to offer them a discount, I would make sure that it is through the website so that any incidentals are covered and that it's insured.